A few more people are still jumping in here. Give it about 30 seconds and then we can get rolling. All right, Tracey, Lindsay, what do you think? Should we jump in?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you everybody for attending today. This is AI 101 for your business. This Lunch and Learn is all about boosting productivity, reducing risk by embracing AI securely and effectively. This is hosted by Stack Cybersecurity and Breach Secure Now. Big thank you for Stack Cybersecurity for having us today. Few housekeeping items, and we'll jump into some intros. We'll go through our agenda. I just want to say for housekeeping items, there's about I think 30 minutes of content that we'll have today, maybe 35 minutes, and we'll have about 10 minutes, 15 minutes of Q&A time. So feel free, if you would like, put questions in the questions panel. You can go into GoToWebinar. There is a questions panel. Put questions throughout the entire call today, and we'll hit on those at the end. We should have plenty of time for it. All right. Do some brief intros. My name is Chris Gross. I am the Senior Director of AI Product at Breach Secure Now. I'm joined by Lindsay Hayes, the AI Solutions Strategist at BSN, and Tracey Birkenhauer. Tracey is the Chief Impact Officer at Stack Cybersecurity. Tracey, thanks for having us on today, and thanks for being on.
Absolutely.
Awesome. With that, I think we can jump right into it. Lindsay, is there any housekeeping items I should hit on before we get into some content today?
No, I think you got them.
Awesome. All right, let's jump into it. So, guys, like I said, this is AI 101. We want to start off the Lunch and Learn today by providing you all with just a thought experiment. I'd like you guys to imagine if you had 4 hours more per week in your workday, or if you could get all the work that you have today in your work week done 4 hours quicker. If you could do that, if everybody on your team could do that, what kind of strategy would you be able to build in those 4 hours? What would you be able to do personally in your own role, whether that's training, whether that's just strategic thinking? What would you be able to achieve in those 4 hours? That's the kind of potential that we're looking to unlock with AI. I hope you guys can walk away from the Lunch and Learn today with just some ideas of how you can start building that productivity. What we're really talking about with AI isn't replacing potential. It's all about unlocking potential, and that really starts with people. That's what we're looking to unlock today, and we're really excited to get to talk to you about some ways that you can start doing that. Before we jump into content here, we want to give you a little bit of background on who we are at Breach Secure Now and why we're talking to you today. So for 10 years, over 10 years, Breach Secure Now has been educating employees on how to use technology securely and effectively. We started off in cybersecurity and we expanded into AI awareness and productivity training. And the whole goal is to help employees train on how to use technology securely and effectively to boost ROI on those technology investments in your business, to help produce better business outcomes and overall increase job satisfaction for you all, your employees in your business. We're extremely human focused here. We believe that technology alone is nothing without the people that are using it. Our big goal is to bridge the gap between human process and technology while keeping security always in sight. Anytime there's new technology to be adopted, security needs to come first with that. Over those 10 years, we've protected over 35,000 businesses and trained over 1 million employees. And we are constantly growing every day as we begin to train new businesses, begin to train on new topics such as AI, what we're talking about today. Lindsay, can you give us a little overview of the agenda we're going to be jumping into, and then we can hop in some great content?
Yeah, for sure. So a quick overview of what we're going to be going over today. First, we're going to run through some of the risks of AI and how to dispel some of the fears that have been going on around AI. We're going to touch on some of the common misconceptions about artificial intelligence And we're going to really kind of distill what we mean by artificial intelligence or AI as a whole, how you can use generative AI in your business on the day-to-day. We're going to discuss how you should think about incorporating AI in your business, like Chris said, with a security-first mindset. And we'll show you some real practical use cases of how AI can help you across your organization. We'll walk you through a clear path that's going to help you and your teams internally begin adopting AI within your businesses. And then, like Chris mentioned initially, we'll make sure we leave plenty of time for questions at the end. Should we jump into it, Chris?
Let's do it.
So one of the largest risks of AI to your organization comes from within your organization, and that risk is going to be shadow AI. So like shadow IT, shadow AI is when an employee is going to bring in or utilize an AI tool without your prior approval, oversight, or any involvement with stack cybersecurity or your IT or governance teams at your organization. We're seeing a lot of employees that are using these tools already every day, and it's mostly through the free versions. The concern with using the free version is that employees often fail to consider the security ramifications of their AI usage. Where's the data going? How are these models utilizing the data after that data is put into them? Furthermore, without adequate training, these users are experiencing poor outcomes from their prompts, which not only hinders their productivity, but that also escalates those potential security risks. On the other side, we have cyber criminals who are increasingly leveraging artificial intelligence to execute more sophisticated and pervasive scams. BSN used to train a lot for phishing on grammatical errors being in a phishing email, and that's a thing of the past, because if cyber criminals are using AI, every single one of their emails is almost perfect. AI empowers bad actors to further personalize those phishing attempts, automate large-scale malicious campaigns, and they're able to create highly convincing deepfakes, voice clones, making fraudulent activities more difficult to detect and defend against, especially in social engineering attacks. So we're here to help you and your employees be aware of both the risks and then how training can help you mitigate those risks. Statistics show 90% of employees are using AI tools. Only 40% of companies have official subscriptions. That means that free models are training on your data, or even worse, potentially exposing your data that's being put into it, like customer contracts or other proprietary information. That's a huge risk to your organization. Now, and in the fact that cyber criminals and the general public could now access that information through deep research or specific prompting, we want to make sure that we are allowing people, like Chris said, to utilize these tools, but we also want to make sure they're doing it securely and in the most productive way so that they can gain efficiencies and make sure that any information they're putting in is staying secure once they're utilizing that tool. Chris, is there anything you would add, or Tracey, on this one?
I think you hit on it, Lindsay, with the risk portion of this. This is really important to put up front. It's why we had it as the first slide. We talked about how there's huge opportunity with AI, but you always got to balance that with the risk here. People are using it. The reason why that number, 90% of employees are using some kind of AI tools, because they're getting benefits from it, right? But there's also risk associated with it. And most of them, they're not doing that maliciously. They just don't know yet. Many of you maybe on the call today, or many of the employees that you work with might not know that this is a risk. So this is absolutely something we'll talk about how you can mitigate today. And then we'll talk about how once you go and deploy AI securely and start using in your organization, you can get massive productivity gains from it.
And Lindsay, I thought it's relevant. I saw a question asking about, is the free version adequate for business use? And at risk of sounding like an attorney, it depends, right? So if you want to share anything that you don't want publicly broadcast, then do not use a free version. It's not even totally secure for the paid version, right? Nothing is totally secure ever. So at least you get closer to that. And what Lindsay said about the AI training on your information, what she's saying is that whatever you put in there becomes public. Just like if you have the best idea in the world, do not Google that idea, because Google may take your idea, right? Same thing with AI. If you don't want the world to know about this, don't put it in the AI, and certainly not in a free version. No way, no how.
Yeah, Tracy, I think I said this when I was at your event in February of this year. But something I always like to say is, if you're using the free version of AI, AI is not the product. You are probably the product. If it's free, it's training on your data and it's going to use that information for whatever it wants. Versus a paid version, you can start locking that down and protect yourself a little bit more.
Lindsay, I know there's a lot of FUD when it comes to AI. There's a lot of misconceptions. Do you want to talk about some of them and talk about some of the reality as well with AI?
Yeah.
Uncertainty and dread.
Yep.
For those who don't know what FUD is.
Chris and I get to talk to business owners all the time. And actually, Tracy and I have had a lot of in-depth conversations about AI in the past as well. And the biggest misconception that we hear when we talk to business owners and their staff about AI is that AI is going to replace their people. It's going to replace them, their employees. Here at BSN, Stack Cybersecurity, we all agree AI is here to empower employees to do their jobs better. It's here to help you do your job more efficiently, especially when it's implemented in a safe and secure manner, like using those paid versions we've talked about. Everything you see on the screen are misconceptions that we've heard when talking to businesses about AI. Our call is going to focus on addressing these, talking about what AI is, how you can use it safely, the importance of using it safely and securely, and then we're going to focus on the power and the importance of keeping those humans in the loop when it comes to AI. Artificial intelligence, despite having advanced capabilities, it cannot effectively or efficiently operate within a business environment without at least some element of human involvement. Human oversight is critical to ensure ethical, technical alignment, contextual understanding for your programs, and humans are able to double check and ensure everything is running as it should be and adapt to any unforeseen circumstances, where if you left AI to its own devices, as you know, it can probably hallucinate. Automations can get messed up in processes. So having that human there to double check everything keeps everything in line and secure. I find this statistic extremely compelling. 90% of workers are already utilizing generative AI. They need help through training. They need help to point them in the correct direction of how generative AI can benefit the business the most efficiently, and most securely.
You need people in the loop, that's for sure, right? Anytime if you have used these tools in the past, you can get great productivity gains from it. It's great. There's awesome things that you can do, but you absolutely need somebody in the loop for these tools. Empowering people is the goal here. Right, Lindsay, you want to talk a little bit about how they can actually empower people, kind of how we look at AI and what we mean by AI when we say start utilizing AI? What are we actually talking about there?
Yeah. So AI is tools that are going to help you do your job better and help you produce better results in a smaller amount of time. An analogy that we use a lot internally at BSN that we found help breaks down some of those barriers to entry is utilizing AI like an intern. An intern's not going to take your job. They don't know enough about your role. They don't know enough about the day-to-day tasks to step in and displace you completely. But an intern does generally know enough to help you out. They're able to complete some of those more basic tasks, and with additional training, they're able to learn some of the more intermediate and advanced ones that you maybe do day to day in time. So instead of replacing you, AI is here to help you accomplish these tasks. It's here to help you accomplish tasks maybe you struggle with, like analyzing data, or maybe tasks that you don't necessarily enjoy doing, like replying to angry emails from outside customers. It's awesome to be able to leverage it to help with those tasks. So instead of replacing you, AI is here to help you. The analogy we go with treating it like a personal assistant is bring it with you everywhere. Take it down the road, try it, test it out. What can this tool actually do as an intern for you to help you in your day-to-day? But the big key with AI is always remember at the same time you have to check its work. Just like an intern, sometimes the results you're going to get back will not be 100% accurate. So always make sure you're checking the results. While AI is helpful in saving time and improving the quality of work, you do want to ensure that it's providing the correct information. And that's that human element. You're verifying your results that you're getting out of it before you share those out as your own.
I love the analogy, take it with you everywhere, right? Go and test, go and figure out what AI can do and what it cannot do. That's really the best way to get started here. And there's obviously some basic tips and tricks that you can use, but really taking AI with you everywhere, is an awesome way to start testing there. We're going to jump into some examples, right? We talked a lot about how much time that you can actually save with that AI, how you can improve work with that AI. We're going to give you some examples now of real ways that we use AI at Breach Secure now, real ways that some of our partners are now utilizing AI and clients. These are 3 examples out of the thousands of examples that there are out there, but we're hoping that this gives you guys some ideas of how you might be able to utilize these tools in your own organization. So the first one here is marketing competitive analysis. And many of you on the call today, you guys might already do some kind of marketing competitive analysis on your own business. I know we did at Breach Secure Now. We used to do marketing competitive analysis. We actually used to outsource this and have a third party do this for us. And cost range for something like this, $5,000 to $15,000 to go do a competitive analysis. Or we would do this internally and it would take so much time to be able to do. And honestly, unless you have a professional doing this, the results are not always great. You can actually use AI to do some basic marketing competitive analysis in your business today. So this is something you guys can walk away with today. It's something you can do. You can utilize any of these common AI tools, Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic, Perplexity. You probably know a bunch of these already. The tool within those platforms is called Deep Research or Researcher. Every single one of those platforms have a tool that's similar to this research type tool. And we'll actually walk through what the prompt is that you can utilize or how you actually go about doing marketing competitive analysis with one of these tools. So many of you probably have seen a ChatGPT or Copilot and how you interact with it. It's just like a chat bot. There's a field that you can actually input text into and you can ask any question you want. And what I always recommend starting off with is prompting for better results. So this is how we started off here, is that I asked the AI, how can I ask this question better to get the best result? That's how I always like to start off some of these big questions is, let's ask the AI what it thinks on how to ask the question the right way. So this is what I put in here. Help me create the below into a better prompt for deep research. And this is the statement I put in. Help me conduct a competitive analysis. The competitors in Breach Secure Now's market who offer employee awareness training, security awareness training, AI training, and productivity training. What it came back with was an entire prompt that I could now copy and paste in order to get more information about my business. You guys can do this today with your own business and your own focus put in here. So I reviewed this. I made sure that it had everything that I wanted in there. And I just copied and pasted that right back into ChatGPT is my example of what we used here. Again, you can use Copilot or Gemini, whichever tool. I put on the deep research tool. It's called Researcher and Copilot. And then what came back after, I think it took about 5 to 10 minutes to actually generate. Deep research takes some time. What I came back is this entire executive summary here. And here's some of the details of that. So this is a 25-page report that searched over 40 plus credible resources. And these are all recent resources. They were published within the last 24 months. They all had links and quotes to them. It included the executive summary of BSN, the market position, a tiered competitor landscape, pricing matrix, positioning, top 5 competitors, and a SWOT of those top 5 competitors, and actual actionable resources that we could do over the 3-6 months to help better position ourselves. So this is a real engagement that we did a few months ago at BSN. You know, this was able to quickly help us find market intelligence and support strategy in the future. Again, this is extremely easy to do. As always, like Lindsay was mentioning before, you absolutely need a human in the loop. You need somebody that's then going to review some of these sources and confirm that the results are legitimate, but this is a really great way to get insights into the competitive landscape of your business. Another example that you guys can possibly use today is sales prospect research. One of the things that we always do at BSN is before we go and talk to a new partner prospect, we're going to go and do some research about their organization, see who their key contacts are, see what their business is doing in terms of the size of their business, see what they're interested in, maybe any news about them. This would take our sales team anywhere from 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes to really do well. Our sales team doesn't always have 30 to 40 minutes before every single one of their calls to be able to do this. So sometimes this research just wasn't being done completely. This is another way that AI was able to not only help us save time, but allow us to do something that we weren't doing as well before AI. So again, you can use the same tools. You can use a Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, any of these, and we'll utilize within that platform Deep Researcher. Again, how do you start off with any prompt? Is I like the prompt for better results. Help me create a better prompt for deep research on a sales prospect before going to talk to them. I'd like an overview of their company, their leadership and decision makers, recent news, and synergies with my company, Breach Secure Now, as well as anything else that could be helpful. So I'm asking the chatbot here, how can I ask you this question better? And what it comes back with is an entire prompt that I can utilize with a structure of what information do I need to put in, and also what can the structure be that comes out of this. So I copy and pasted this in there. I put in a real company name, the industry, primary contact role, and then everything else that was recommended in that prompt. Did deep research, and this is what it came back with. It's an entire document that I can now download. I could share this within my company to any of my sales team. We actually do this before every single sales call now, and this has helped out so much for every call that we do to really give us information to prepare us for that call. The length of this report is 2 pages. This one searched up to 15, or actually searched more than 15 up-to-date sources. It took about 2 to 3 minutes for it to generate. Again, deep research usually takes a little bit longer when you go and do that. But it gave us a ton of great information. It gave us a company overview, the business size, differentiators, the market that that company is focused on, who are the key leaders in that business and decision makers. It did recent news about that, provided us with some recent information, their technology, posture, synergies between our organizations, and then some key insights and possible talking points that we could leverage. So this saves us hours every single week from that manual prospect research that was being done. On top of that, it's searching sites that we probably weren't looking at before, and it's really diving deep into sources like LinkedIn, sources like common news sources about our different prospects that we're working with. So really actionable insights that we get from a basic prompt here.
Now, Chris, have you been surprised at some of the sources that you see? For example, when I search for some things, I'm surprised how often it mentions Reddit as a source.
Yeah.
I don't go on Reddit. So I was like, what? Yeah, I find that very interesting. And it has actually changed the way we do some of our marketing, because we know that we need to get noticed in different ways by the AI.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you say that, Tracey, about you guys changing marketing strategy for it. We see that these forums that we would have never thought before to do pre-call research for, these forums pop up. You have Reddit that'll pop up, other industry news sources that we might have not been looking at before. You'll see those pop up. So there is an entire market for kind of AI SEO, which is a marketing term. How are you going to be discovered, right? There's an entire market popping up for that. And AI is another good tool to kind of dive into, like, where are they getting those sources from? Where are they sourcing information? So yeah, it's a really good question.
Another thing I liked about what you said is that you do all of this research and then you either download it or you share it, because that was one of the things this morning that I thought about when there was that Cloudflare outage that took down ChatGPT and Claude and like so many other things on the internet. It just was a massive outage and effect. So I'm thinking, oh my word, so much stuff I just have in these conversations because I revisit them. I keep going back and iterating, and I don't always download everything. If it were to somehow, if there was an outage that lasted a month, what would I do? I need to make sure that I am capturing those details and that information from there, because we can't guarantee it will always be there.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And anything on the cloud, right? You want to make sure that you have that redundancy for, yeah, it's funny that you say that. Like, I think that example this morning, it definitely scared a lot of people when you don't have access to your AI intern, your personal assistant. You're like, oh, what am I going to do now? You actually, become so reliant sometimes on a process, because it's so much easier to go and do this type of pre-call research, or just one example, or marketing analysis, anything like that. It's so much easier to do it with AI. Now that I don't have that, what am I going to do? What's the next step? So these two examples, these are just research examples. Those were one way that you can use AI. Another awesome way that you can use AI is for content generation. And this can be anything from helping you craft emails, to helping you craft full blogs or images even. Our marketing team at BSN uses this all the time when it comes to marketing content and generation. This example that I'm going to show you is actually creating graphics for marketing content. So most of these AI tools you can create images with. Again, Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic, or Perplexity. These all have the ability to help you create images. So in this example, I'm actually going to use AI to help me create the slide deck, or the first slide of a slide deck that we used a few months back. So what I first did is I put in our logo, Breach Secure Now, and then I asked the AI, help me create some marketing assets for an upcoming webinar titled Get a Grip on Artificial Intelligence. Let's start with the title slide. And then I gave it our brand guidelines of all the information that we put into our branding. And here's what I got back. And these are just some examples of what it actually gave back to me as title slides. What's so cool about AI now, and it's constantly evolving, we can create entire slide decks with AI. We can take these graphics that are produced by AI, and we can go and adapt them to be PDFs, adapt them to be infographics, take the content that's in our slide deck and make a blog out of it. This is just one example of content creation that is super powerful. These look pretty good, and it's a great way for you to upskill some of the slides that you're producing, or maybe you guys have designers on your team that this could help them save some time with some of the content that they're developing. So just another example on how you can use AI to, again, save time or upskill things that you currently don't have in your business. All right, Lindsay, you want to talk a little bit more about just wrapping up what some of these benefits are?
Yeah. So adopting AI in the workplace, why? It brings so many benefits. It's going to help streamline routine tasks. It's going to improve your accuracy on your reporting, on your deep research, lots and lots of different tasks. It's going to also enable employees to focus on their higher value work. AI will enhance productivity. It supports better decision-making by providing data-driven insights, and it improves your customer experiences through faster and more personalized responses. When you integrate AI responsibly and strategically, organizations can unlock tons of new efficiencies. You can help reduce your operational costs, and it allows you to stay competitive in a rapidly evolving business landscape.
You did it.
Not to mention, statistics show AI improves employees' outputs as well as helps them feel more motivated to enjoy their work more. A huge expense for a small or medium business is hiring. If you're able to upskill your employees, keep them engrossed in their work, they're going to stay. So strategic AI implementation is a pivotal investment that's going to foster significant advancements for both your employees' capabilities as well as your business's operational practices. It's way more than just a technology. AI is a pathway to unlock new potential and help future-proof your organization.
And Lindsay, have you ever truly attempted to calculate the ROI with AI?
Actually, internally at BSN, we do. We run some use case sharing sessions, and as our team starts beginning to talk about how they implement it, we create workflows and processes to try and help automate those tasks, and then we do actually have the ability to label a time on those. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. Chris, you might know one, but Andrew, our AI implementation specialist on our team, that is his whole role, is to figure out how much time AI is saved BSN per week, per day, or just based off of each task workflow. This slide says 5 hours per week is about what most marketers say generative AI saves them. But we're talking about not only giving this to your technical people, but hand this over to your finance teams. How much is it going to save them for their yearly reports, things like that?
Yeah, it's a good question, Tracy, because we have a reported amount that individuals will say, hey, I'm doing this use case and saving this amount of time on a weekly basis. But there's a ton of people that aren't reporting what they're using AI for, and that's even more ROI that just undiscovered basically in our business. So we have some, but probably more than you even think. So. All right,
so
Lindsay.
Implementing an effective AI program. Oh, sorry, Chris, I just decided to jump into it.
Jump right in.
AI offers organizations an extremely wide range of benefits. We've listed out so many, not only increasing efficiencies and productivity by helping automate those repetitive tasks, but mostly freeing up your employees to focus on their higher value work. It's going to enhance their decision-making with those data insights. It's going to reduce your operational costs by minimizing errors, helping you streamline processes, and it's going to improve your experiences, not only for your internal teams, but also for your customers, by providing more personalized interactions. A well-governed AI program strengthens security and risk management. It can help detect anomalies and support your compliance initiatives. And it enables a greater scalability to help fuel innovation, allowing organizers to develop new products, maybe new services. Tracy's example earlier about Googling an idea is perfect. It can help you develop new business models, and that's what's going to be able to keep your business competitive in the rapidly evolving landscape that we have today now that AI is in everyone's hands.
You guys are hearing us talk about all of these benefits with AI. You guys also heard us talk about what some of the risks are here. You guys are probably at a point of, hey, how do I get started with this? And I do want to go and try out some of the use cases that you had examples for, or maybe you're thinking of your own use cases internally that you could start utilizing it for. So how do you actually go and take the next step and start utilizing AI, not just effectively, but also securely? We've developed a strategy at Breach Secure now that we started through internal development. Now we have our partners such as Stack being able to deliver to their clients and do internally in their own organization. A secure and effective AI adoption strategy, it really starts with secure AI tool provisioning, right? We talked a lot about the risks of utilizing free tools. I would love Lindsay's analogy, right? If you're utilizing a free tool, most likely you are the product. So you want to make sure you have some kind of licensed tool in your business. You want to make sure that you document a policy, an AI acceptable use policy that sets the do's and don'ts when utilizing these tools. What kind of information can we put into these tools? Which tools are approved and which are not? And then probably the most important one here is you want to empower individuals in your organization to utilize the tools securely and understand what the risks are, understand what the guidelines are, but also understand how they can use it in their own position to be successful and to get them started on the right foot here. We always recommend ongoing enablement. Lindsay mentioned this before, but we do use case sharing sessions in our own business where we will actually come up with a new use case or I highlight a new use case on a bi-weekly basis. Some of our partners do this on a monthly basis. Some of our clients are doing this, monthly or quarterly. We come up with a new use case or highlight one that somebody in our business is using. We share that with everybody in the business on a call together. And then we discuss it and discuss other ways that our business can leverage that use case, maybe trigger some ideas on how other individuals in business can be successful doing the same thing. We always recommend incentivizing individuals to come up with new use cases as well. We run a challenge every month where people can submit use cases, new use cases that they're using AI for. And then at the end of the month, we'll actually give a prize out to the individuals that submitted and the ones that had the most impactful use cases. So it's always a great way to get people to engage by incentivizing them, doing more training opportunities, and really having that top-down approach in your business of let's actually get everybody together and discuss how we're going to leverage this technology in the future to be successful. So this is what we've found as an extremely successful AI adoption strategy. If you guys are interested in taking that next step to start your AI journey, Stack Cybersecurity, as well as our platform, Breach Secure Now, our breach prevention productivity platform, has everything you guys need to get started with ongoing awareness training, policies, and ongoing AI adoption and enablement resources. So if you guys are interested, please reach out to Stack Cybersecurity. Tracey's contact information is right here. And we'd love to help you guys take the next step to start this journey on your own. All right, we have a lot of questions in the chat here, looks like. Maybe we can hit on some of those. All right.
We've answered the first one already, but I like this next one. Is there one AI that is more trustworthy than others and won't hallucinate?
Yeah.
The short answer, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So Joe, the short answer is there's not going to be one that doesn't hallucinate at all. And it's funny, like the metrics that they use to evaluate these AIs, it's constantly changing, right? One day they're going to say that Gemini is performing better than ChatGPT, and then another day it's Claude. Constantly they're evolving these AI platforms. They are constantly building new features within them, constantly getting better. So it's going to constantly change. The best thing to do when evaluating is figure out what's best in your business, what's meeting your security controls, what's meeting your accessibility requirements there. And always humans are going to need to be in the loop when it comes to utilizing these tools. You're going to need to have some checkers to the results that are coming back from it. Right now, to Tracey's point, right? Short answer is no. There is none that don't hallucinate at all right now.
And it's almost like mobile phones, right? When one feature goes on this type of phone, then they all get them, and then they all start upgrading and changing and maybe getting bigger, smaller, whatever happens. So I see that happening a lot.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I like this next one too. What features should be prioritized when choosing which AI my company should use? And with that one, this is my answer to a lot of questions. Ask the AI, right? What do you think? What do you do best? And what features do you think that I should be considering when I look at these tools?
Yeah, there's new features all the time coming out too. And there's some that you don't even realize. It's not the days of we got to wait months before there's an update to this software. These are constantly changing on a day-to-day basis. You're going to see new capabilities that AI can do today that they couldn't do 2 months ago. But Tracey, to your point that you just mentioned, it's like a mobile phone, right? You're going to see one feature on one platform that's most likely going to be on the next platform very shortly afterwards.
And I like this next one about the AI generated graphics or images. Are they all royalty free and able to be used for commercial purposes? I think that's a very good question.
It's a really good question. And Joe, we don't see any issues with this now. We have seen AI generated content used for business purposes all over the place. Right now, there's no regulation that's out there that's preventing you from utilizing these images. They're newly created images that the AI has created on the spot for you based off of your prompt that you're putting in there. So absolutely, you can use that content that it's producing for you.
Now, what if someone reused your AI generated image? Would there be an issue with that?
It's a great question, Tracy. I don't know the answer to it. I really don't know. Yeah. It's something to look into for sure. And I think that there's just a lot of gray in this area right now when it comes to AI generated content and the legality behind, what can be used or what can be reused, I guess. But you would think though, that's your content. If you're going to go and create this content using Adobe Photoshop, right? That Photoshopped image that you've created, that's going to be your content. So you would think they would not be able to reuse that content if it is yours.
Well, one of my texts just pinged me and said AI images cannot be copyrighted. U.S. copyright law as of January of this year. Good to know.
Good to know.
And we have now Breach Secure. Now, one of the things I really like about your platform is that you have policy templates as just part of the standard platform, which really surprised me, frankly. And one of them is an AI acceptable use policy that we have updated and amended. And, of course, like you always do, you need to customize any template to make it your own and specific to your company. But then we have a generic version of it as well that we do share with clients and just people who are in our ecosystem. We share that out with them, and they do find that to be very useful. And I'm sure they probably plug it into an AI and ask it to update it for them, and it just iterates from there.
Yep. Right. I think this one we might have answered during our conversation. What metrics should companies track to measure the ROI of AI adoption on the business? Time saved is always a good one, but some of these metrics for ROI are not as tangible as time saved. When we collect our use cases for our incentive that we run on a monthly basis, we call it the Innovation Challenge. When we collect those, we do ask for time saved, but we also ask for some that are not as easily measured, right? Things like how much did you improve customer experience? Were you able to do something that you weren't able to do before? That's not always as easy to produce a tangible number for what the ROI is. So some of these metrics you won't be able to put a dollar amount to, but time saved is always a really good one for ROI that I'd recommend there.
And it's hard to quantify a lot of that because so much of it is interpersonal. For example, when I'm on tilt and I want to write back a snarky reply about something and I know that I can't. So you always have to write the snarky reply just to get it out of your system. But then I ask the AI, I'm like, okay, I'm not a jerk, I swear. Help me rewrite this. So it softens up and is, professional. And so in some ways, I feel like we are all getting along maybe a little bit better because basically it's our AIs, communicating with each other. We're helping to rewrite things and to update and frankly make it a little bit better and more polished.
Yeah, I like that, right? The AIs are communicating with each other. We're just guiding them on that, right? This next one is, what's the most common mistake you see when companies adopt AI and how can you avoid it? Tracey, I'd like to hear if you have anything for this one too, but one that I definitely see is people jumping over the human aspect of AI and trying to jump right to some kind of technology that they're implementing and automation that they go to look for, but they forget to include people in the loop and process, and they forget to talk to the individuals in the business and say, what's your actual process? What's the best way that we can get you to this ROI? We've found that empowering people to work with AI is the best way to do that on at least first steps in order to get ROI from these tools. Is let's go empower people. It's the easiest way to also get people on board for future adoption if you are going to do more automation, things like that.
Right.
And I definitely see some AI overuse and with really not good results. Even I see things on LinkedIn for ads and marketing and it's like AI has come so far, like is learning to spell, right? Like it's like not quite as bad as it was for a while there, but I'll even see people with like really blatant typos. And they think, well, everyone understands because it's AI generated. I'm like, no, it should still be professional and polished. It should be better than what you could do. And that, I think we all need to keep that in mind. Like in a former life, I was a professional writer. And I'll tell you, I am so glad I do not get paid to write anymore, because I will write something and I think it's just so good, right? And I'll put it in the AI and I'll tell it, what I want it to check out. And within 3 seconds, it comes back with something I could have worked on it for a year and never achieved that. So, and that's what our goal should be, is the improvement, not replacement.
Absolutely.
Something we actually talk about quite a bit at BSN is the AI you use today is going to be the least intelligent AI you will ever use, because it's consistently learning all the time. We also talk a lot about not hiding it. If you have employees that are hiding their AI usage, you're almost hindering your return on investment right there, because they're not going to share how they're using it. They're not going to share, Tracey, to your point, that they have to double check for hallucinations or how they're utilizing it on their day-to-day as well. So I would say try to make sure you're empowering people to share that they're utilizing it, because that's going to make it way more fun. It's going to make it way easier for them to start implementing it into their day-to-day as they share those stories.
Sure.
Absolutely. And I've seen that as well. And one thing that I find interesting is that our business, we provide, one of the services we provide is an outsourced IT help desk. So people from other businesses call our business and they say, okay, I'm having a problem with my printer, with my server, whatever it is. And so I'm asking our technicians, how many people have called in with AI prompting issues or anything related to AI? They even call us with problems with Excel and we help them. So that's not overreaching, not one call. No one has reached out with an issue with AI. And that what that tells me is we have a lot of shadow AI going on. AI that their boss doesn't know about, that is not sanctioned. And I dare say it's probably not a paid version.
That's an awesome resource that you guys provide. And, like you said, if it's shadow AI in the business, let's figure out a way to make that secure, do put some light on it, and let's actually get those productivity gains there.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I know we're a couple minutes over. Tracey, is there anything else that you want to plug before we let everybody go here? I know there's a few more questions too. We can follow up with those individuals, I'm assuming. That's okay.
Oh, yeah. And well, absolutely. If anyone has AI questions or if they want a readiness assessment, we are here. We are really embracing AI, and we have come up with a lot of really neat stuff that we're doing with it and how we leverage it. And we've even been demonstrating this to some of our clients. We've done, we did one session before this, and then we're having today's session, and then we will continue to iterate and just keep getting more and more granular with our knowledge transfer. The other thing is we just recently launched our AI hub. I put that in the chat. I'm hoping everyone can see the chat on here. So it's stackcyber.com/AI-hub. And that just went live. I wanted to unveil it here during our session, and I hope you all enjoy it. We have some readiness questions and just a lot of really good detailed checklists. So please check that out and reach out if you need any assistance with AI, cybersecurity, or IT.
Awesome. Thank you, Tracey. Thank you so much for having us on today. Really enjoyed the conversation. Please let us know, if you guys are looking to take those next steps in your AI journey, reach out to Tracey and go check out the new AI hub. That sounds awesome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and
Thanks,
Moxie.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
have a good day.
Yep.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
day.